We live in such a beautiful planet. Do you have a garden? It's nice to have a bit of land outside your house, of your own, where you can walk out and get some fresh air and enjoy the singing birds in the trees and the therapeutic effect of the green grass and flowers. It's nice to have a beautiful garden. Are there many rural areas around where you live? A lot of countryside? How beautiful the countryside is in all countries. Maybe you like to go on holiday. There are so many beautiful places on the earth. Beautiful beaches with the sand and the sea. Beautiful blue skies. Paradise. What would you say is your ideal place to live? But I'm sure you've noticed that we've had some problems with the weather recently. Here are some facts about climate change. By 2050, climate change is expected to increase the risk of hunger by 10 to 20%. By 2050, we can expect 24 million more malnourished children as a result of climate change. Between 1980 and 2006, the number of climate-related disasters has quadrupled. The number of people affected by climate-related disasters is expected to reach 375 million per year by 2015. Because of climate change, 2/3 of the arable land could be lost by 2025. By 2030, climate change could push food prices up by 50 to 90%. Why is this climate change happening? And why isn't it being stopped? Let me give you some facts. The United Nations Kyoto Climate Summit in Japan in 1997 failed. The United Nations Climate Summit in Copenhagen in 2009 failed. The United Nations Climate Change Conference in Durban in 2011 failed. It reminds me of the prophecy that says, in the last days, men will be not open to any agreement. That's from 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 3 in the Bible. The governments have most of the power, but it's the governments that are failing. Will this beautiful planet be saved? We all want to live in a paradise. Beautiful sand and sea, blue skies, green fields, animals, trees, plants. And we want a happy family. We want to have a nice family around us, be surrounded by those who we love. And we all want to have a nice community, a nice neighborhood with good people. Paradise and good family and a good society make happiness. The local people should have love and respect for one another. If the local people love and respect you, this will mean peace and happiness for you. What would the people be like in your ideal place to live? Where do good people come from? Where do bad people come from? Are we not trained by the education and environment that we grow up in? Do you agree with me that children need to be taught? That's why children go to school. I'm sure you remember how school affected you as you were growing up. The things we go through as a child have a profound effect on the adult that we become. I ask this question: is the education given to the children in school creating good people? Let me give you some facts. Adolf Hitler went to a primary school in Fischlham and then the Realschule in Linz in Germany. Osama bin Laden went to the Al-Thajer Model School in Jeddah and then the King Abdulaziz University in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. Anders Breivik, the Norwegian mass killer who shot dead 69 people and killed 8 people by bombing, went to Smestad Primary School, the Ries Middle School, the Hartvik Nissen School, and then the Oslo Commerce School, all in Oslo, Norway. The German education curriculum failed. The Saudi Arabian government's education curriculum failed. The Norwegian government's education curriculum failed. Not many of us can influence the educational program that they teach in the schools. The governments have that power. It's the governments that are failing. But let us not give up on the hope of being happy. Let us not lose our vision of paradise. One day we will all have our own home, our own land, and our own food supply. Paradise. The weather will be beautiful, and the food will be abundant. Happiness, freedom. But will today's governments ever give us that life? The governments of today keep the people of the world enslaved to the monetary system. Everybody in every country, slaves every day of every week for their money, and the governments like it that way. It keeps control of the people, and it keeps them in power through taxes. But let me give you some facts. The Japanese government is nearly bankrupt. In 2001, the Argentinian government declared itself bankrupt. In 2008, the Icelandic government declared itself bankrupt. In 2012, the Greek government is planning to declare itself bankrupt. Many are saying that the American government is in reality bankrupt. I ask this question: if the governments cannot free themselves from slavery to the monetary system, how can they free the individual people? Not only do they not want to give us the real life, they cannot give us that life. Cost of living has become so high. It has become too expensive to buy the things we need. Our salaries and wages are not high enough. The fuel bills have become far too high. How can we pay them? And the quality of the housing has gotten worse and worse. They cannot solve climate change. They cannot educate the children correctly. They will not free the people from enslavement to the monetary system. We demand a better life. We are going to get that life. Our own home, our own land, our own food supply. And that is what has been promised. Isaiah chapter 65, verses 21 and 22. They will certainly build houses and have occupancy. They will certainly plant vineyards and eat their fruitage. They will not build and someone else have occupancy. They will not plant and someone else do the eating. The work of their own hands, my chosen ones will use to the full. Psalm 72, verse 16, says, there will come to be plenty of grain on the earth. On the top of the mountains, there will be an overflow. What government is promising that? Did you know that ribonucleic acid has never been found in a non-living material? Ribonucleic acid is one of the building blocks of the living cell. No scientist has ever made or found ribonucleic acid in something non-living. What does that mean? It means life did not come from the physical universe, certainly not planet Earth. We humans do not originate from the Earth. We are from another source. When a scientist tries to create life by producing molecules in a simulated Earth-like environment, the molecules represent the building blocks of life, and the simulated environment represents the Earth's atmosphere. Who does the scientist represent? He represents the other source, our origin. Did you know that the deoxyribonucleic acid, or DNA, in a living cell gives the cell detailed instructions on what to build and how to build it? How could it do that? Where did the DNA come from? Could the one who put the DNA into living cells give us that life that human governments cannot give us? Could our original source give us our own home, land, and food supply? It is easy for the one who created us to set up the perfect government. The one who created this universe and gave us our life can easily restore this earth to a paradise and give us the real life that we all want. Revelation chapter 21 and verse 4 says, "He will wipe out every tear from their eyes, and death will be no more. Neither will mourning, nor outcry, nor pain be any more. The former things have passed away." How could this happen? Daniel chapter 2 verse 44 tells us, "In the days of those kings, the God of heaven will set up a kingdom that will never be brought to ruin. And the kingdom itself will not be passed on to any other people. It will crush and put an end to all these kingdoms, and it itself will stand to times indefinite." God's government will soon destroy all human governments. Revelation chapter 11 verse 18 says, "Your own wrath came, and the appointed time to bring to ruin those ruining the earth." When will this happen? Well, the Bible has given us some signs to help us identify when this is going to happen. And one sign is in Matthew chapter 24. Verse 7 says, "There will be food shortages and earthquakes in one place after another." And verse 14 says, "This good news of the kingdom will be preached in all the inhabited earth for a witness to all the nations, and then the end will come." All these verses are from the Bible. God's government is the only solution for climate change. God's government is the only solution for the children's education. God's government is the only solution for wealth and prosperity, good health and happiness. Jehovah God is the one who will give us the better life. Look to him now. He is the only one who can save mankind. Call out to him. Jehovah, give us that better life.